The chains bite into raw flesh as the eagle descends. Its wingspan blots out the sun. Its talons find purchase on the rocks. And Prometheus cannot look away. He cannot close his eyes. The gods have made certain of that. Every morning for eternity, he must watch the bird approach. He must feel its beak tear into his abdomen. He must listen to the wet sound of his own liver being ripped from his body. And tomorrow, it will happen again. This is the price of loving humanity too much. Long before this mountain became a prison, before the chains and the screaming and the endless cycle of agony, there existed a world without fire. Picture it. Humans huddled in caves, shivering through endless nights. They ate their meat raw and bloody. They feared the dark because they had no weapon against it. They watched animals flee from lightning strikes and wondered what that dancing orange light might be. But they could never possess it. The gods kept fire for themselves, hoarded on Mount Olympus like a jealous secret. Zeus, king of the Olympians, looked down upon these pitiful creatures and felt nothing. Let them suffer. Let them crawl. They were playthings, distractions, experiments that had already grown boring. But one immortal watched humanity with different eyes. Prometheus was a titan, one of the old gods who had sided with Zeus during the Great War against his own kind. His name meant forethought, and he saw further than the others. He saw what humans could become. He saw cities rising from mud. He saw ships crossing wine-dark seas. He saw poetry and philosophy and love and sacrifice. All of it locked away, unreachable, because these fragile beings lacked one simple gift: fire. The theft itself was elegant. Prometheus climbed to the sacred hearth of Olympus where the eternal flame burned. The heat washed over his face. The light danced in his ancient eyes. And with steady hands, he reached into the blaze and captured a single ember inside a hollow fennel stalk. Such a small thing. A glowing seed no larger than a fingernail. He descended from the mountain in darkness. He moved through sleeping villages until he found a gathering of humans, cold and frightened and waiting for dawn. And he knelt before them like a father. He opened the stalk. He breathed gently upon the ember. And fire entered the world of men. The change was immediate. Within a generation, humans built forges and fashioned bronze. They cooked their food and lived longer. They gathered around flames at night and told stories, invented myths, dreamed of gods. They became dangerous. They became wonderful. They became everything Prometheus had foreseen. Zeus noticed. The king of gods summoned Prometheus to Olympus. The air crackled with divine fury. Lightning flickered behind those terrible eyes. "You have stolen from me," Zeus said. "You have given my fire to worms. You have upset the order of creation itself." Prometheus did not beg. He did not apologize. He looked upon the most powerful being in existence and said nothing at all. His silence was his confession. His silence was his defiance. The punishment Zeus devised was not merely cruel. It was artistic in its cruelty. Prometheus was dragged to the Caucasus mountains, to a peak so remote that no human voice could reach it. Hephaestus, the smith god, forged unbreakable adamantine chains. He drove stakes through the Titan's wrists, through his ankles, through his chest. Each blow of the hammer echoed across the empty valleys below. And then Zeus revealed his masterpiece. A giant eagle, born from the monsters Typhon and Echidna, descended from the clouds. Its feathers gleamed like polished obsidian. Its eyes held no mercy because it had been created without the capacity for mercy. It existed for one purpose only. Every single day, as the sun rose and painted the mountains gold, this eagle would come. It would land upon Prometheus's exposed body. It would tear open his flesh with its curved beak. And it would devour his liver, slowly, piece by piece, while he screamed into the uncaring sky. But Prometheus was immortal. His body could not die. Each night, as the temperature plummeted and frost formed on his chains, his liver would regenerate. By dawn, he would be whole again. And the eagle would return. Imagine it. Not one day of torture, but thousands. Tens of thousands. Generations of humans lived and died and turned to dust while Prometheus hung on that mountain. The world forgot his face. Children grew old telling stories of the firebringer without knowing he still existed, still suffering, still paying the price for their warmth. But all prisons have keys. Centuries passed. A hero rose among mortals, a man whose strength came from divine blood. Heracles, son of Zeus himself, wandered the earth completing impossible labors. His path eventually led him to the Caucasus, to the mountain where the screaming had become legend. He found Prometheus reduced to a shadow of his former glory. The Titan's body was a map of scars. His eyes had seen more suffering than any being should endure. But he was not broken. Even after eons of torment, defiance still burned in his gaze. Heracles did not hesitate. He drew his bow. The string sang. And his arrow pierced the eagle through its black heart. The monster that had feasted on immortal flesh for countless years fell from the sky, dead before it struck the rocks below. Then Heracles approached the chains. His muscles strained against Hephaestus's craftsmanship. The adamantine groaned. It bent. And finally, impossibly, it shattered. Prometheus fell to his knees for the first time in millennia. Free. But freedom came with conditions. Zeus, perhaps softened by time or perhaps simply unwilling to appear defeated, allowed the release on one term. Prometheus would wear a ring forged from his chains, set with a stone from his mountain prison. Forever after, he would carry a piece of his punishment. A reminder. A warning. Some say Prometheus returned to the world of men, walking among the creatures he had sacrificed everything to help. Some say he retreated from existence entirely, tired beyond measure, seeking only silence. The myths grow quiet on this point, as if even the ancient storytellers did not know where a being goes after such an ordeal. But his story did not end with his release. The Prometheus myth has echoed through every age of human civilization. The Romans retold it. Medieval scholars studied it. And in 1818, a young woman named Mary Shelley sat down to write a novel that would change literature forever. She called it Frankenstein. But the subtitle, often forgotten, was The Modern Prometheus. Shelley understood something essential about this ancient tale. Prometheus gave humanity power before we were ready. Fire could warm a home or burn a village. It could cook food or consume forests. The gift itself was neutral. What mattered was how we used it. Victor Frankenstein, obsessed with conquering death, steals the power of creation from nature itself. He succeeds beyond his dreams. And like Prometheus, he suffers beyond imagination for his transgression. His creature, his beautiful, terrible creature, becomes his eagle, tearing away everything he loves, piece by piece, until nothing remains. This is the warning woven through the myth. Progress demands sacrifice. Knowledge carries cost. Every time humanity reaches beyond its grasp, acquiring nuclear power, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, we reenact the crime of Prometheus. We steal fire from forces greater than ourselves. And we must live with the consequences. The Titan on the mountain is not merely a figure from dusty scrolls. He is a mirror. He is us,